For 8 seasons, Charmed enchanted audiences with its mix of magic, sisterhood, and supernatural battles. But behind the scenes, tragedy has touched many of the actors who brought the show's beloved characters to life. Some were taken too soon by sudden accidents, while others fought courageous battles against illness. From series regulars to memorable guest stars, their contributions helped shape the world of Charmed, and their untimely passing has left fans heartbroken. In this list, we remember 37 actors who have sadly passed away, honoring their legacies and the mark they left on television history. Shannon Doherty played Prue Halliwell in Charmed starting in 1998 at the age of 27, portraying the eldest and most responsible Halliwell sister. Prue was strong-willed, fiercely protective, and often burdened with the responsibility of leading her sisters. Doherty's career had early success with Beverly Hills 90210, but was marred by on-set conflicts and personal struggles. Fired from Charmed after season 3 due to tension with co-stars, she faced a career decline, making sporadic TV appearances while battling health and financial issues. Her personal life was tragic: 3 failed marriages, including a bitter divorce from Kurt Iswarienko in 2023, while she was fighting for her life. Diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015, the disease eventually spread to her brain and bones. She spent her final years in constant pain, enduring aggressive treatments that offered little hope. She passed away on July 13, 2024, at the age of 53.
In any other city, I'd be called a detective.
Inspector's class here.
Liking it better already.
Your dad must be so proud.
Third generation.
Billy Drago first appeared as Barbas, the Demon of Fear, and Charmed in 1999 at the age of 54, playing one of the series' most terrifying villains who thrived on exploiting people's deepest fears. Typecast as a sinister figure, he built a career on playing criminals and supernatural beings in films like The Untouchables and Pale Rider. Though he enjoyed his work, he lived a lonely life, with few close friends and a deepening sense of isolation. His greatest love was his wife, actress Silvana Gallardo, but when she died in 2012, he fell into despair. His health worsened in his final years, suffering from high blood pressure and strokes. In 2019, after a severe stroke left him unable to care for himself, he succumbed to complications on June 24 at the age of 73. His passing was quiet, his legacy as a villain overshadowing the loneliness that defined his final years.
When they do, they will provide me with more than enough power to free the 2 of us from purgatory.
Rebecca Balding played Elise Rothman in Charmed from 1998 at the age of 50, portraying Phoebe's tough but caring boss who became a mentor and friend. While Balding had a steady career with roles in horror films like The Boogans, she never reached mainstream fame. In her personal life, she found love with director James L. Conway, but their marriage was shadowed by heartbreak as they were unable to have children. Despite outward stability, she endured deep sorrow, feeling incomplete without a family of her own. In her later years, she suffered from ovarian cancer, a silent killer that progressed before she could fight it properly. Though she underwent treatment, her health rapidly declined, and she spent her final months in immense pain, unable to do what she loved. On July 18, 2022, at 73, she lost her battle, leaving behind a grieving husband and a legacy that never fully received the recognition it deserved.
It seems like every time I walk past, she's in there chanting or something. Sometimes, I swear, I even hear other voices. I know she...
Michael Gilden portrayed Finnegan, a mischievous yet well-intentioned leprechaun, in Charmed in 2003 at the age of 41. His character, though minor, was a rare moment of joy in a career often defined by the struggle of securing meaningful roles as a little-person actor in Hollywood. Despite his talent and determination, Gilden found himself repeatedly typecast, fighting against an industry that rarely afforded him the recognition he deserved. His personal life, at first glance, seemed more stable. He was married to actress Meredith Eaton, who shared his experiences and challenges. But beneath the surface, he battled depression, a relentless darkness that no amount of professional or personal support could alleviate. On December 5, 2006, he took his own life at the age of 44, hanging himself in his Los Angeles home. His sudden and tragic death left those who knew him in shock, a devastating reminder of the hidden battles so many face in silence. Peter Siragusa played Bauer in Charmed in 2002 at the age of 47. As a menacing demon with a gruff and aggressive demeanor, Bauer embodied chaos and destruction, a stark contrast to Siragusa's real-life struggles. Though he built a respectable career in acting, with credits in Home Alone and The Big Lebowski, his professional achievements were often overshadowed by personal setbacks. A devoted husband for years, his marriage ultimately ended in a painful and drawn-out divorce, leaving him emotionally shattered. He had children, but the broken family dynamic caused irreparable wounds, leading to estrangement from his loved ones. The loneliness weighed heavily on him, and he battled bouts of depression in his later years. In 2022, a sudden and mysterious illness struck, deteriorating his health at an alarming rate. He passed away on October 11, 2022, at the age of 67, his final moments marked by isolation and suffering.
This moron is trying to take a butcher knife to my column.
Okay, well, what seems to be the problem? Obviously, besides the butcher knife.
Phoebe, like I told you, it's a great story.
Denise Dowse took on the role of the Angel of Destiny in Charmed in 2005 at the age of 47. As a celestial figure with immense power, the Angel of Destiny was tasked with overseeing the fates of the Charmed Ones, delivering crucial decisions with an air of wisdom and detachment. Dowse, a seasoned actress, had a prolific career spanning television, film, and theater, with memorable roles in Beverly Hills, 90210 and Insecure. Yet, behind the success, her life was fraught with hardships. Despite a commanding presence on screen, her personal life was riddled with loneliness, never marrying nor having children. She dedicated herself to acting, perhaps as an escape from the emotional turmoil that plagued her. In her later years, her health declined rapidly, culminating in a devastating battle with meningitis, which robbed her of her ability to communicate before claiming her life on August 13, 2022, at the age of 64.
There's one more battle on the horizon for you three. One unlike you've ever...
Bruce Gray took on the role of Keel in Charmed in 2005 at the age of 69. As an elder, Keel embodied wisdom and guidance, always offering strategic counsel to the Charmed Ones in their fight against darkness. Gray, with an impressive career in film and television, was best known for Starship Troopers and Traitors. Despite his success, his personal life was anything but serene. He married once, but the union crumbled under the weight of career pressures, leading to an amicable yet deeply painful separation. He had children, but distance and time created an unbridgeable chasm between them. In his later years, he was diagnosed with brain cancer, a cruel disease that gradually stripped him of his ability to work, communicate, and ultimately, exist as the dignified man he once was. He spent his final months in excruciating pain, the brilliant mind that had once captivated audiences now trapped in a failing body. On December 13, 2017, at the age of 81, he succumbed to the disease.
What's the matter? Don't trust me?
You said you had some information about the avatars? We're listening.
Well, actually, I said I have information.
And Haney played Aunt Gail in Charmed in 2000 at the age of 66, portraying a seemingly warm and motherly figure who ultimately betrayed the Hallowell sisters in a desperate attempt to regain her youth. Her character's tragic downfall reflected the desperation she sometimes felt in her own career, as Hollywood often typecast her in strict matronly roles, limiting her opportunities for more dynamic performances. Haney had been married to John Haney, with whom she had one daughter, Melissa, but their marriage was marked by long separations and emotional distance. After her husband's death, she became increasingly isolated, struggling with loneliness and declining health. Despite decades in the industry, she felt unappreciated in her later years, withdrawing from public life as congestive heart failure weakened her body. On May 26, 2001, at the age of 67, she died alone in her Los Angeles home, with her passing only discovered when concerned neighbors noticed her absence.
Well, that was then. This is now.
Hey, now looks pretty good.
Believe me, the golden years are anything but. Mostly it's regret.
Henry Gibson portrayed the Sandman in Charmed in 2003 at the age of 68, embodying a mystical guardian of dreams who helped the charmed ones navigate their subconscious fears. Though widely recognized for his comedic poetry on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, his career suffered as Hollywood moved past his signature humor, leaving him struggling for meaningful roles. Despite a long and devoted marriage to his wife Lois, her death in 2007 devastated him, sending him into a deep depression from which he never fully recovered. Though he had 3 children, his grief led to emotional withdrawal, and he spent his final years in growing solitude. Secretly diagnosed with cancer, he refused to share his suffering, facing his illness alone rather than burdening his family. On September 14, 2009, at the age of 73, he passed away from the disease, his death receiving little attention. A tragic and lonely end for a man once celebrated for bringing laughter to millions.
Out of her unconscious. But now that he's out, he's obviously very real.
Okay, does that mean he's gonna keep trying to kill me?
If that's what he tries to do in your dreams, yes.
Tyler Christopher played Anton in Charmed in 2000 at the age of 28, portraying a charming yet manipulative warlock entangled in a doomed romance. His real-life struggles were even darker, as he battled severe alcohol addiction despite early fame in General Hospital. His personal life was filled with turbulence. His marriage to Brienne Pettigo ended in divorce, and while he had 2 children, his addiction prevented him from being a stable presence in their lives. Financial struggles compounded his problems, leading to homelessness at times, as legal troubles and multiple stints in rehab failed to provide lasting change. Despite brief periods of sobriety, he relapsed repeatedly, pushing away friends who tried to help. On October 31, 2023, at the age of 50, he was found dead in his home from positional asphyxia caused by acute alcohol intoxication. A tragic and lonely demise that reflected the struggles that had plagued him for years. Pamela Gordon played Amanda in Charmed in 2000 at the age of 63, portraying a mysterious and eccentric character who added intrigue to the series. A lifelong character actress, she spent decades in Hollywood, yet never achieved financial stability, often taking minor, forgettable roles just to survive. Unmarried and without children, her life was marked by loneliness, relying only on a small circle of close friends. Her final years were filled with hardship. She was diagnosed with esophageal cancer in 2003, and her condition worsened as she battled complications from pulmonary failure. With no immediate families to care for her, she faced her illness largely alone, her declining health forcing her into a quiet, painful existence. On September 21, 2003, at the age of 66, she passed away, her death barely making headlines, a sad end to a career and life that Hollywood had largely overlooked.
Be here.
Krytos said they weren't supposed to leave.
I know, but they were getting suspicious.
Are you sure you're not trying to protect them?
Of course I...
Richard Lynch portrayed Cronin in Charmed in 2003 at the age of 63, a cunning and malevolent demon whose scheming ways made him a formidable enemy to the Hallowell sisters. His chilling performance was a reflection of the intensity he brought to every villainous role, a result of a lifetime of hardship. In his youth, he suffered a horrific accident, setting himself on fire while under the influence of drugs, leaving him permanently scarred, both physically and emotionally. Though he rebuilt his career with iconic villain roles in The Sword and the Sorcerer and Invasion USA, he was plagued by personal demons. Married briefly, he never had children, and his later years were marked by solitude. As age crept up, his work dwindled, and he withdrew from Hollywood, disappearing from the public eye. His lifeless body was found in his home on June 19, 2012, at the age of 72, alone in death as he had been in life. No investigation was conducted, leaving the mystery of his passing as unsettling as the characters he portrayed.
Us. We're us. You're them. We don't help them. Sorry.
You can't fix this by yourselves. That's why you invited me here to your backyard.
Tony Todd played the avatar of Force in Charmed in 2002 at the age of 48, embodying an imposing and enigmatic entity who wielded immense power, embodying the darker forces of balance. His deep, booming voice and towering presence made him a chilling force, yet his character's intentions remained ambiguous, teetering between order and destruction. Todd's career flourished with horror roles, most notably Candyman, yet he remained largely typecast, forever trapped in the shadow of his most terrifying characters. Despite his success, he struggled with loneliness, never marrying and having no children, pouring himself into his work as his health deteriorated. Privately, he battled a long and painful illness, refusing to disclose details as his once commanding presence faded into frailty. The decline was slow and merciless, leaving him weakened and isolated. On November 6, 2024, at the age of 69, he passed away after years of suffering.
This doesn't work. You'll have nowhere else to turn.
It'll work. But what a waste. Especially when you could have so much more.
Jeanette Miller played adult Christina Larson in Charmed in 2000 at the age of 68, portraying a wise and kind-hearted woman whose guidance proved invaluable to the Hallowell sisters. Her warm yet mysterious presence resonated deeply, mirroring her real-life persona as a character actress often cast in roles of elderly wisdom. Her career was long but largely overlooked, with small roles in Anger Management and The Truman Show, never reaching the recognition she deserved. Off-screen, she lived a quiet life, outliving her husband and spending her later years alone, childless, with only the memories of Hollywood's fleeting embrace. As time wore on, her health declined, and she faded from the public eye, suffering in silence. On November 4, 2016, at the age of 84, she passed away quietly, her death barely making headlines, a lifetime of performances slipping into the abyss of forgotten faces.
3 cousins, do you remember that?
Daddy was a bartender. He used to pick me up after school and take me there. I liked the piano.
Frances Bay portrayed old Phoebe in Charmed in 2002 at the age of 83. As a future vision of Phoebe Hallowell, her character carried an air of wisdom and quiet melancholy, embodying the weight of a life filled with both love and loss. Bay's career was marked by memorable appearances in Twin Peaks and Happy Gilmore, yet her personal life was marred by unimaginable grief. She was married for over 5 decades, but in 2002, tragedy struck when her husband was killed in a car accident, leaving her utterly devastated. She had 1 son, but he died at a young age, compounding her sorrow and deepening her loneliness. In her final years, she suffered a horrific accident, losing part of her leg after being struck by a vehicle, rendering her physically and emotionally broken. Confined to a wheelchair and battling chronic pain, she developed pneumonia, a final cruel twist in a life already shaped by loss. She took her last breath on September 15, 2011, at the age of 92.
The good old days. Of course, nobody...
Jerry Becker played Ramus in Charmed in 2002 at the age of 51. As a mystical elder, Ramus exuded an air of authority and mystery, guiding the charmed ones with wisdom forged through centuries of experience. Becker himself had a long career, appearing in Man on the Moon and Spider-Man, yet he never reached the level of fame that many of his peers enjoyed. His personal life was a quiet tragedy. He married young, but his marriage crumbled under the weight of financial struggles and long periods of separation due to his acting commitments. He had 2 children, yet his work kept him distant from them, creating an emotional chasm he never managed to bridge. In his later years, he was plagued by complications from diabetes, leading to severe health decline. By the time he passed away on April 13, 2019, at the age of 68, he had already lost much: his health, his family bonds, and the career he had once fought so hard to maintain.
However, perhaps something I can do for you.
What do you mean?
I am an elder, and I can foresee the future. Enough of it.
William Morgan Shepard portrayed Merrill in Charmed in 2003 at the age of 71. His character, a wise and ancient being, carried the burden of knowledge, offering cryptic yet invaluable insights into the mystical realm. Shepard's career was extensive, spanning Doctor Who, Star Trek, and The Prestige, yet he often found himself playing forgotten or marginalized figures, much like the role he embodied in real life. Despite a long marriage, his devotion to his work created distance within his family, and his children grew up with only fragmented memories of their father. Though he later tried to mend these fractured relationships, time had built an unbreakable wall between them. As he aged, illness crept upon him, and by the time he reached his 80s, his body had begun to betray him. His final years were spent battling declining health, the once powerful voice that had commanded the screen reduced to little more than a whisper. He passed away on January 6, 2019, at the age of 86.
With a candle.
We thought we'd try a Wiccan ritual, or...
David Carradine took on the role of Tempest in Charmed in 1999 at the age of 63, playing a demon who controlled time, manipulating events to his advantage. It was a chillingly fitting role for a man who spent his life desperately trying to outrun his own past. Best known for Kung Fu and Kill Bill, Carradine had a career that was both illustrious and marred by scandal. Despite his fame, his personal life was in ruins, married 5 times, each marriage ending in heartbreak, leaving behind failed relationships and children who felt abandoned. He struggled with addiction, falling into cycles of self-destruction, unable to escape the demons he played so convincingly on screen. In his final years, his career had dwindled to low-budget films, a stark contrast to his former glory. Then, in one final moment of tragedy, he was found dead in a Bangkok hotel room on June 3, 2009, at 72, the result of accidental asphyxiation in circumstances that sparked endless speculation and controversy.
He won't let her risk meeting me alone. He'll insist she have the power of 3 there with her, for protection.
And you think you have the power to defeat them all?
You don't think I do you?
Suzanne Kroll played Amara in Charmed in 2005 at the age of 39, portraying a devious and cunning sorceress who used dark magic to manipulate the charmed ones. Amara was ruthless, a reflection of Kroll's own relentless ambition in an industry that often overlooked her. Despite appearing in Judging Amy, General Hospital, and My Wife and Kids, she remained on the fringes of Hollywood, struggling to secure leading roles. Her marriage to comedian Peter Sprite provided emotional support, but the couple faced financial difficulties, and their inability to have children weighed heavily on her. Kroll privately battled depression, feeling that her talent was unrecognized, that she was forever playing supporting characters in both Hollywood and life. Health problems surfaced in her final years, but she dismissed them as exhaustion. On July 28, 2013, at just 47, she died suddenly from a ruptured aortic aneurysm, leaving behind a career filled with untapped potential and a husband devastated by her abrupt passing.
With lustful hearts, no doubt.
Maybe we should hold off on the transfer until we're sure.
How long have we been watching them? By now we know the charmed ones better than anyone, including
Coolio portrayed the Lazarus demon in Charmed in 2002 at the age of 39, a menacing figure capable of resurrection, an ironic parallel to his own attempts to reclaim his career. Rising to global fame with Gangsta's Paradise, his success was short-lived, and he soon faced industry rejection, financial instability, and mounting personal struggles. His life outside of music was marked by turbulence, 6 children from multiple relationships, legal issues, and an ongoing battle with addiction. Though he sought to reinvent himself through reality TV and nostalgia-driven performances, substance abuse continued to derail his efforts. His final years were spent chasing past glory, while his health deteriorated from years of drug use. On September 28, 2022, at the age of 59, he was found lifeless in a friend's bathroom, succumbing to an overdose of fentanyl, heroin, and methamphetamine. His once celebrated legacy became a tragic reminder of the fleeting nature of fame.
Stop!
Matthew McGrory played the ogre in Charmed in 2003 at the age of 30. A towering presence, his character was misunderstood, feared for his size, but possessing a gentle heart. Off-screen, McGrory faced similar struggles due to his extraordinary height, which often set him apart from others in a way that was isolating rather than empowering. Despite notable roles in Big Fish and House of 1,000 Corpses, he found it difficult to escape typecasting, limiting his opportunities in Hollywood. His love life was tragic. Though he was in a long-term relationship, the constant pressures of his health and career put strain on his personal connections. He never had children, though he longed for a sense of family. McGrory suffered from chronic health issues related to his gigantism, and his heart ultimately could not sustain the physical burden of his condition. On August 9, 2005, at the age of 32, he died from heart failure. Joe E. Tata took on the role of the police inspector in Charmed in 2001 at the age of 65. As a relentless investigator, his character often found himself entangled in supernatural cases beyond human comprehension, embodying both authority and vulnerability. Tata's career spanned decades, with his most notable role as Nat Basicio in Beverly Hills 90210, yet despite his long-standing presence in Hollywood, he struggled to escape the shadow of typecasting. He was married once, though the relationship was fraught with tension, eventually ending in a bitter divorce. He had a daughter, but as his health declined, their connection weakened, leaving him increasingly isolated. In his later years, he battled Alzheimer's, a cruel disease that slowly eroded his memories, his identity, and his ability to recognize even his own child. By the time he passed away on August 24, 2022, at the age of 85, he was a shell of the man he once was, trapped in the torment of a mind that had long since abandoned him. Scott Plank played Eric Lohman in Charmed in 1999 at the age of 41, portraying a relentless agent whose pursuit of justice often put him at odds with the Hallowells. His performance was sharp and intense, much like his career, a brief but bright flame in Hollywood's unforgiving landscape. He worked steadily in television and film, including roles in Air Force One and The Division, yet stardom always eluded him. Behind his confident persona, he yearned for stability, but his personal life remained unfulfilled. Though he dated, he never married or had children, and as he entered his 40s, he began to fear he would always be on the fringes of success. Tragedy struck suddenly, on October 24, 2002, at the age of 43, he succumbed to injuries from a devastating car accident. The industry moved on quickly, his name soon fading into obscurity, another talent lost too soon, his potential left unrealized. Elizabeth Sung portrayed Mrs. Chow in Charmed in 1998 at the age of 44, bringing warmth and quiet resilience to her role. Born in Hong Kong, she initially pursued a career in ballet before a devastating injury forced her to abandon dance and turn to acting. Hollywood, however, proved unforgiving, and she found herself typecast into small, often stereotypical roles despite her vast talent. She married Peter Tulipin, but the two struggled with the pain of infertility, and the absence of children left an unspoken void in her life. In her later years, she was diagnosed with lymphoma, a battle she fought privately while continuing to work, determined to leave behind a legacy of perseverance. Her final months were marked by physical pain and professional frustration as she longed for the recognition she never truly received. On May 22, 2018, at the age of 63, she succumbed to her illness, her passing met with quiet sorrow rather than the accolades she had deserved. Who is your favorite character in Charmed? How do you feel knowing that the actors have passed away? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you so much.